Dr. Smith is the president and CEO of St. Joseph Center. For nearly 50 years, St. Joseph Center has been a leader in supporting families living in poverty and unhoused individuals across Los Angeles County. As one of LA's county's largest housing and workforce service providers, St. Joseph Center supports 15,000 people a year by providing housing, workforce development, mental health, and outreach support for people experiencing homelessness and poverty. Dr. Smith also serves as Vice President of the Affordable Housing Commission for the City of Los Angeles. Prior to joining St. Joseph Center, Dr. Smith served as Chief Strategy Officer at Community Coalition, an organization dedicated to transforming the social and economic conditions of South Los Angeles and beyond. In this role, Dr. Smith led the organization's strategic initiatives and power-building efforts, including the successful Make LA Whole anti-poverty campaign, which secured over $200 million in city funding for high-need communities. Before his work at Community Coalition, Dr. Smith was interim CEO and Chief External Officer for LA Unified's Partnerships for Los Angeles Schools, supporting 15,000 students and their families in Watts, Boyle Heights, and South LA. Earlier in his career, Dr. Smith was Executive Director of the Education Trust West and Vice President of Strategic Advocacy for the Education Trust, a national civil rights organization focused on closing opportunity gaps. Dr. Smith holds a Bachelor of Arts and a Doctorate of Education from UCLA. He's a recipient of the National Annie E. Casey Children and Family Fellowship and the Coro Fellowship in Public Affairs. Please join me in welcoming our good colleague and friend, Dr. Ryan Smith, to the podium to address you.
Good morning. I am so honored to be in front of the amazing class of 2025. I want to thank the amazing students, our faculty, our educators, our community, all the folks who support you all in hitting this milestone. I also want to thank the visionary leadership of Dr. Ann McElhaney Johnson for all that she does for this university, as well as the amazing professors that you see behind me and in the audience. Give yourselves a round of applause for all that you've been able to do, all that you've been able to accomplish, everything that happens. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about love, particularly at a time as uncertain as these. But I'll start with a little bit of the organization that I lead. I have the opportunity to lead the St. Joseph Center, an organization that has for nearly 50 years helped lift people out of poverty, help ensure that we're eradicating homelessness, and making sure that every Angelino has a place to call home. And I'm honored and delighted to do that work. What's great about St. Joseph Center is not just that we've built an institution ensuring that we end homelessness, but it's our origin, it's our founding that makes us beloved community. In fact, we share a similar origin story. We were founded by the Sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet. The amazing women who in 1925 founded this very institution in the belief that every person, that every woman should have a quality education. These powerful educators, years later in 1928, bought 36 acres on a hill. I heard that the bishop thought they were crazy to do so, but said yes, and ended up building an institution that sits here today. We are celebrating 100 years of women who believe that we can champion the belief of all of your educations. We're celebrating 100 years of 25,000 students who went on to graduate this institution, and it was founded by the charism, compassion, and the belief of the dear neighbors of the amazing sisters of St. Joseph of Carondelet. So everyone, join me in thanking the sisters for their vision of humanity, compassion, but their belief in radical love, their belief in inclusive love, their belief in the power of uplifting your dear neighbor. 50 years after this organization was founded, we were founded. It was two sisters, Sister Marilyn Rudy, who was teaching social justice classes, and Sister Louise Bernstein, who was taking those classes, said, you know what, we can't just read about uplifting our dear neighbor. We can't just read about social justice. We have to do something about it. They rented a storefront in Venice, California. They bought a big red truck to ensure that they can give resources, particularly to immigrant communities. They believe this idea that we belong to each other. That at the end of the day, we can look our dear neighbor in the eye and say that we are collectively linked. Your success is my success. And that charism and love and compassion can heal communities, and it's because of them 50 years later, we have recognized that tens of thousands of people have found housing, that we've been able to help those who've experienced homelessness. They built an entire restaurant called Bread and Roses Cafe, a restaurant for good where volunteers provide meals that have fresh linen on tables, that have roses in the center, that said you are home when you receive that meal. And every week we give over 1,000 meals, 35 years later. And the amazing cafe is named after the women's suffrage song. Give us our bread, yes, feed our bodies, but give us our roses, feed our souls, and give us the vote. It's because of their commitment to social justice and leadership and charism and compassion that many of us sit here today, and I'm honored to work with them. By the way, we have an amazing board member, Sister Barbara Ann, who's on the stage. She holds me accountable. Thank you, Sister Barbara. We have Sister Kathy Stein, who texts me every week and asks me, how's your mom? How is your life? Continue to do the good work. And there's amazing Sister Judy Molosky, who texts me, hey, at this year's gala, if you don't have music, I am coming after you because we're gonna dance and get down. So I will just say, Sister Judy, I will have music at this year's gala, and I'll make sure that you dance with me. So I wanna thank the amazing sisters. But it's this power of love that is the reason I sit here today. I grew up in Los Angeles. I am the son of a single mother who sacrificed her entire life for me to receive a quality education. She spent her life savings to move from one community to another because she heard that young black boys were graduating and going on to college. And I'll never forget that years later, I would lead a research institution and look at the school districts that were actually graduating young people of color, particularly young black boys. And guess what school district rose to the top? The one my mother chose. So I like to tell her, you're a qualitative researcher and you didn't know it. You looked at the data and did your own focus grouping. You made meaning of the data that you had in order to make informed decisions, and I'm grateful for her sacrifice. It also inspired the work that I do today. I was indignant because I don't believe any parent, any family member should have to spend their life savings to provide their children a quality education. That is a human right that should exist in every community, and my work has been really centered on how we continue to move that social good. And I'm grateful for her sacrifice because I am here today. I would not be here, I would not have graduated high school, and particularly because in my junior year of high school, I came home and saw an eviction notice on the home that we had known for 10 years. My mother had done everything she could to continue to prop up our family, but the home we knew for a decade, we had less than 10 hours to finish, to leave. My mother handed us trash bags and said, "It's time to go." We drove around in a car, and she swallowed her pride, knocked on a neighbor's door, and said, "I'd like my son to finish high school. I've given my entire life so that he could get a quality education. I don't have much. Would you open your door and allow us to sleep in your living room until we're back on our feet? That way he can stay at the same school district." Because of that neighbor's love and compassion, I was able to continue at Culver City High School. Not only that, even though we were experiencing housing insecurity, I didn't know if I should still apply to school or if I should get a job. It was my high school counselor and principal who said, "Well, what's going on? You don't seem as excited about college." And I told them that I wasn't sure I had money for my applications. That day, they pulled money themselves, those two women, and they paid for my application to UCLA. And if they had not paid for my application to UCLA, I would not be standing in front of you, a graduate, both undergrad and doctorate at UCLA. You see, it's that type of love and that type of commitment and that type of belief in the power of each other that allows us to prosper. And we have that here, a beloved community. You have a physical manifestation right around you. Look behind you, look to your left, and look to your right. You have family members, neighbors, abuelitos, tíos, tu comunidad. You have everyone who has championed you and prayed for you and made another meal for you or allowed yourself to do your laundry at their house. You have folks who heard you cry over that stats class that you wondered, why am I taking this, especially in graduate school? They helped you and made sure you could finish your theses and your doctorate. And even if they couldn't read all the pages, they were with you in spirit. We belong to each other, and they are certainly proud of you. Please give a round of applause to the amazing families and community members who have sacrificed to make sure that you could graduate. Only 20% of the country has a graduate degree, and you are one of those people, but you have brought your community along with you. So thank you to your families. We appreciate you. Also want to thank the amazing educators who have committed and sacrificed, who've given of themselves, who made sure that extra office hour happened, who made sure to answer those emails, who made sure to grade those last-minute papers, who heard you when you were having personal challenges. You know, unfortunately, education is under attack these days. And our professors and our educators are on the front lines. And we are thankful that they continue to sacrifice and center students in this moment. Please give a round of applause to the amazing professors and educators and staff members and counselors, those running dining halls, those who make sure this place operates. While this may be uncertain times, their focus is you, and that's the reason why we are here today. But there's another group I'd like to thank. There are two famous philosophers that I will quote. One is a man who is receiving his star on the Walk of Fame, a West Coast legend, Snoop Dogg. When Snoop was receiving that star, he started his speech by, "I'd like to thank myself. I'd like to thank me for believing in me. I'd like to thank me for the hard work I put in. I'd like to thank me for the hours that no one saw that I made sure happened. I want to just say for you all, you must thank yourselves, because it is loving yourself that you can go through all of the pages you've written, all of the analysis that you did. When you thought you couldn't do it again, you looked yourself in the mirror and said, I can accomplish this. When there was no one else in your family, you said, I will be the first. When you thought this would be a hard journey, you didn't know if you'd make it today, you got up that next day and still went to school. You have survived a pandemic, political shifts, driverless cars, and you are here in front of us today. It's W.E.B. Du Bois who was the first Black man to graduate with a doctorate from Harvard. When they asked him, how do you feel today? Guess what? He said, the honor is all Harvard's. So I will say the honor is the mount today that you've been able to finish your graduate degree. Give yourselves a round of applause. Make sure you give a high five to your neighbor. Give yourselves a hug. You have done this when someone said that it was impossible. Felicidades, congratulations. We are so proud of you. Now that you have these amazing degrees, there's a couple things that I'd like to impart. One, in the radical idea of love, I believe in this idea of linked faith theory, that no one can be successful if our brothers and sisters and communities fail. That in uncertain times, it's time to double down on the belief of love, double down on the belief of beloved community, double down on the belief that we belong to each other. Because if they come for you in the morning, they'll come for me at night. That our fate is in each other's hands. So you all will do amazing things. You will accomplish, you've already accomplished what many have never done, and you'll continue to do that. What I'll ask you to do is, as you continue to succeed, lift up others around you. As you think about the places that you will go, remember those who mentored you and find someone else to mentor. And when someone reaches out to you and they look at your bio and say, you graduated from Mount St. Mary's, can we have a conversation? Pick up the phone and talk to them. When you have a cousin or nephew or niece who may be struggling and may be challenged, you tell them, I was able to do it, so you can as well. And when people attack or say our communities are not worth much, or say, how can we continue to do the work? You all look at each other and say, it's because of radical love and the belief of beloved community that we have survived so many times and we will continue to do so. I ask you to use these powerful degrees not just for your personal journey, which I want you to do and you will do amazingly well, but also for the journey of others. You know, it's interesting, it's Fannie Lou Hamer, who was an amazing civil rights activist, daughter of sharecroppers who organized folks in the Deep South. She was in front of a women's conference, and they asked her, how were you able to do all the amazing work that you did? And she said, well, nobody is free until everybody is free. I ask today that we continue on that path of freedom together. I ask that you celebrate like you've never celebrated before. In fact, Sister Judy would tell you to dance tonight and have joy tonight. The sisters would remind us of charism and compassion, uplifting our dear neighbor, of inclusive love that surpasses all. And I ask that you continue the good fight, and all the values you've received from the Mount, please take with you on your journeys. Congratulations again, felicidades, and I wish you well.